Well, it's a TGIF. It is, thank God it's Friday. And it is Friday. And I'm looking outside. I'll put a picture of what I'm looking at for you in my storyline of this podcast so you can see exactly what I look at every morning when I do this podcast. It is really beautiful outside. Now, the temperature today is supposed to be 93. The state average for the month of July is 95. So we're still below the state average of temperatures. I'd encourage you, everyone, if you go onto Google and see exactly how your temperatures are doing this summer. I mean, you got to remember it's summertime. And the temperatures go up during the summertime. Some summers are not so bad as other summers. But we're still in the state average. In fact, we're below the state average. Now, yesterday we did meet the state average. We went up to 95. But if you look at your state average or even your city average and then look at what it is for this day, see how far you are from the average. If you're a little bit above average, that happens. Listen, they keep complaining about not Florida, but Arizona and how hot it is. 30 years ago, I lived in Arizona, and I'm telling you right now, we had days of 112, 114, even up to 115. It happens in Arizona. You're living in the desert, and it gets hot there. And then I remember the sandstorms that would come in off the desert, and you could see this brown cloud just coming towards you, and then finally it hit you. And then the next day you had dust all over your car, you had dust inside your house. It happens. Summertime is a hot month. It always, several months it is, but it gets hot during the summertime. So that's why I'm kind of having a fight back moment, I think, because I saw that guy from I forgot where he's from, the United Nations or someplace, saying that this is the hottest summer ever. So I'm wondering, is it really the hottest summer ever, or are they just using the hot temperatures of the summer to push their agenda? That's my question only. That's why I monitor mine every day. Every morning I get up, it's the first thing I do, and I monitor what is the weather going to be like here in Greenville, South Carolina. And so far for the month of July, which is the hottest month of the summer, we've been below the average, except for yesterday. We were at the average. I was listening to Schumer the other day, Senator Schumer in Washington, D.C. said, global warming, and today's 90 degrees. Well, the average July temperature for Washington, D.C. is 89. They were at 90, 1 degree off. Is that global warming? I don't know, I get frustrated because sometimes political agendas use nothing but just hot weather to show that it's global warming. I tell you, this last winter, to me, was cold. I froze my butt off, especially when I lost my heat in my house. But I froze and it was cold. And I'm thinking now, this hot weather that we're having is nice. We got a pool, just walk down to the pool, dip in, dip out. Or do your swimming laps like I do. I do swimming laps every morning. In fact, I'll go there as soon as I get done with this podcast. But I don't know. I'm just off on this. And I don't want to call people liars, but I will if I have to. But I'm just monitoring my own temperature. And so far, we are below the average of July here in South Carolina. I was listening to... Well, let me tell you the truth. I was flipping through my Instagram this morning, and I heard the podcast from Dave Ramsey, and this lady called in, and you could tell in her voice that she was stressed. There was something more than the question that she was going to ask. Her question was, should she sell her house? Because she and her boyfriend had broken up. But then as the story went on, the boyfriend was standing right in front of her, holding their baby son, and acting stupid, standing in front of the car so she could not leave. So there was more to the story. And so finally, Dave Ramsey said, listen, I'm not going to tell you that you need to sell your house because I don't know at the moment until we look at the numbers. But that's not the problem today, is it? And she goes, yes, that's not the problem. The problem is that she was going through a breakup with her boyfriend. They had a child. And the son and the boyfriend was using that child as a shield to control her. As a mediator, I have heard this voice before. I have heard the story almost exactly told before. How the other individual who's using their children as a shield to control them. I've heard this scared voice. I have heard this voice that you can hear the pain in it with every single word that comes out of their mouth. And there was something bigger than just selling a home. There was something bigger because it was that you had a child being held by the father to control that woman. So there was a dangerous situation brewing. I don't know how the story ended. I'd like to know. In my situation, when I'm mediating a family split up or a separation, I hear these stories. And sometimes, as a mediator, when tough times like this is going through an individual's mind and heart and body and soul, every part of her body is consumed with this pain. Seeing their child being used as a shield to control. I have been in situations where we had to go in and remediate the parenting agreement. And at that time, I had a mother with two teenage girls, young teenage girls. And the father, every time he picked the children up, they came back and the children were just hurting so badly because of the way that he treated them. And as I was going through the mediation process, I had to make a determination because I don't see that we could have gone on with the agreement because there were too many open items where the children no longer wanted to be with their father or talk to their father because they were so scared. They would go to his house and plan how they could escape his house. And it was just little tiny things. One tiny thing that set them off and made everybody so scared is that one of the girls took the bicycle seat off the bicycle. And he got pissed and he got mad. No reason, just that he didn't want the bicycle seat taken off, but it wasn't fitting her. So she tried to make an adjustment. And he blew his stack and was yelling at her as he was bringing her home and across the front porch and into the house. Can you imagine having two beautiful young children being scared of their father that they were planning a way to escape when they were with him? I stopped the mediation and I sent them back to family counseling because it was vital that some of these things be resolved, because I can't do a parenting agreement if the children don't want to cooperate with one of the parents. There is so much fright, so much animosity towards this father because of the way that he treated him. And I've talked to the guy so many times. When you are a mediator and you do parenting negotiations, sometimes you hear these voices. They call in, they say, we really need your help. I really need your help. And we get into the mediation and we're talking back and forth. And sometimes you get the feeling that, gosh, I don't know if I can resolve this. You try to resolve it as much as possible, but when you see so much pain and anger and hurt and you just have to stop it and say, okay, we need to do something else, because how can I put a parenting agreement when the children don't even want to go back and visit their parent? You always have to watch out for the children. But as I listened to this Dave Ramsey show, and I was so thankful that he played it, because I think it's so important that individuals out there hear the pain of these individuals who are going through a tough time with a breakup, or a tough time with a dysfunctional boyfriend or girlfriend. And it happens on both sides, okay? So it's not just anyone's fault, but it happens on both sides. And I think it's important for people to hear the pain and the anguish and the hurt and everything else, so that they know that these things happen out there and that they can step in and they can help. They can be a mentor. They can be an advisor. They can be just someone to listen to the pain. Because if you can relieve the pain through words, a lot of the time, you can think more clearly. And sometimes when they come into my office, I go ahead and let them rant. And it's an important rant for them to have, because they need to get this all out. Once they get it all out, we can then focus on the issues that we need to focus on. Not all the hurt, not all the pain, not all this other stuff. But we need to focus on how to resolve this, how to focus on the exact issues that we need to resolve. And sometimes when you let people talk and let people tell their story, and just be silent, you'd be amazing how much better that makes that individual feel. They get it all out, and then they begin to start thinking. They can think clearer. So I give thanks to Dave Ramsey this morning when he put that on his Instagram, because it's such an important subject. Because this is a big mental health subject. This affects your mental health. Once you go through a dirty, rotten breakup, it affects you. And that is why people need to be always supportive of these individuals. Because I tell you, there's some big problems out there in these marriages. Life has changed. Life has changed. So anyway, thank God it's Friday. We can go off and we can do some stuff. Go to the lake, have a picnic. Have a coffee with a friend. Today's TGIF, so you can plan a whole bunch of things for Saturday and Sunday, even spending time with family and friends. Listen, if you have a business question, send it to me at thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. And if you would like to sit down and have a 30 or 60-minute private conversation with me, very confidential, you can do so. Just go to my website at www.lodge.co.com, and you can schedule an appointment online at any time that's best for you, any part of the day that's best for you, any week that's best for you. Keep the communication open. Keep talking. If you have a business question and if you have something that's of concern of you, you have the ability to send me a question, or you can actually set up an appointment with me right online. I'm here for you. Everybody go out and have a great weekend. Talk with you soon. Bye-bye.